was a young woman named Emily who had always struggled with getting enough sleep. She had tried all sorts of remedies, from counting sheep to taking sleeping pills, but nothing seemed to work. One night, Emily was tossing and turning in bed when she suddenly heard a soft, soothing voice whisper in her ear, "Close your eyes and let me help you sleep." She opened her eyes and saw a handsome man with sparkling green eyes and jet black hair standing beside her bed. Emily was startled but also intrigued. She asked the man who he was and how he could help her sleep. The man smiled and introduced himself as Daniel, a sleep spirit who had been sent to help Emily overcome her insomnia. Daniel explained to Emily that he had the power to enter people's dreams and guide them towards a restful night's sleep. He promised to stay by her side all night and make sure she had sweet dreams. Emily was hesitant at first, but she was also desperate for a good night's sleep. She closed her eyes and let Daniel guide her into a peaceful dreamland. They traveled through meadows of lavender, forests of pine trees, and oceans of blue water. As the night wore on, Emily felt herself drifting off into a deep sleep. She could hear Daniel's voice in her dreams, whispering sweet nothings and lulling her into a peaceful slumber. For the first time in years, she slept soundly through the night. The next morning, Emily woke up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. She couldn't believe how well she had slept and was grateful to Daniel for helping her. She looked around her room, but Daniel was nowhere to be found. Over the next few nights, Emily found herself sleeping better than ever before. She could feel Daniel's presence in her dreams, guiding her towards restful sleep. She started to look forward to going to bed, knowing that she would have a magical night with Daniel. As the days turned into weeks, Emily and Daniel's bond grew stronger. They would spend hours in dreamland, exploring new worlds and sharing intimate moments. Emily knew that Daniel was just a dream, but she couldn't help feeling a deep connection with him. Eventually, Emily's insomnia began to fade away, and she no longer needed Daniel to help her sleep. She still missed him, though, and would sometimes close her eyes and imagine him beside her. Years passed, and Emily grew older. She got married, had children, and lived a full life. But she never forgot about Daniel and the love story they shared. Every night before she went to bed, she would close her eyes and think of him, grateful for the magical gift of sleep that he had given her. Once upon a time, there was a young man named James who had always been fascinated by lucid dreaming. He had read every book on the topic, practiced reality checks, and kept a dream journal, but he had never been able to achieve full lucidity in his dreams. One night, James went to bed as usual, but something strange happened. As he closed his eyes, he felt himself being lifted off his bed and into the air. He opened his eyes and found himself floating in a sea of clouds. He was amazed by the vividness of his dream, but what really surprised him was the figure that appeared in front of him. It was a beautiful woman with long flowing hair and a gentle smile. The woman introduced herself as Isabella, a dream spirit who had been sent to help James achieve lucid dreaming. She explained to him that she had the power to guide him through his dreams and help him achieve full awareness. James was skeptical at first, but he decided to give it a try. Isabella took his hand and led him through a series of dreamscapes, showing him how to control his dreams and change the outcomes. As the night wore on, James became more and more aware of his dream world. He was able to fly through the air, walk through walls, and talk to animals. He felt like he had been given a superpower and was thrilled to explore his new abilities. As the weeks went by, James became more and more skilled in lucid dreaming. He would meet Isabella every night in his dreams, and together they would explore new worlds and have exciting adventures. Over time, James began to feel a deep connection with Isabella. They would spend hours talking and laughing, and he felt like he had found his soulmate. He knew that she was just a dream spirit, but he couldn't help feeling a deep love for her. One night, James decided to take a risk. He asked Isabella if she would come with him to the real world. To his surprise, Isabella agreed. As he opened his eyes, James found himself lying in his bed, but Isabella was beside him. She had taken on a human form, and he could see her smiling face and feel her warm body. From that moment on, Isabella and James were inseparable. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Alice who had always been fascinated by the stars. She spent her nights gazing up at the sky, dreaming of the mysteries that lay beyond. One night, as she lay in bed watching reaching the stars, she saw a shooting star streak across the sky. She closed her eyes and made a wish, hoping with all her heart that it would come true. The next morning, Alice woke up to find herself in a strange and magical world. She looked around and saw a forest of glittering trees, a river of sparkling water, and a castle made of crystal. Alice was amazed by the beauty of this world, but she was also frightened. She didn't know where she was or how she had gotten there. She started to panic, but then she heard a soft voice calling her name. She turned around and saw a small fairy with iridescent wings and a kind face. The fairy introduced herself as Luna, and she explained to Alice that she had been sent to this world by the power of her wish. Luna promised to help Alice find her way back to her own world, but first, she would have to go on a quest to retrieve a special crystal that would unlock the gateway back to reality. Alice was hesitant at first, but she knew that she had to do whatever it took to get back home. She agreed to go on the quest with Luna, and together they set out into the magical world. As they journeyed through the forest, they encountered all sorts of magical creatures. They met unicorns, talking birds, and friendly dragons. They crossed rivers and climbed mountains, always searching for the crystal that would take Alice back home. Along the way, Alice and Luna grew closer. They shared stories and laughter and formed a deep bond. Alice knew that she could trust Luna and that she would always be by her side. After many days of searching, they finally found the crystal. It was hidden in a cave deep in the mountains, guarded by a fierce dragon. Alice and Luna had to use all their wit and bravery to defeat the dragon and retrieve the crystal. With the crystal in hand, they made their way back to the castle. They inserted the crystal into the gateway, and it opened with a burst of light. Alice knew that it was time to say goodbye to Luna. As she stepped through the gateway, Alice felt a pang of sadness. She would miss the magical world and the friends she had made, but she was also relieved to be going back home. When she opened her eyes, Alice found herself back in her own bed, with the stars shining above her. She smiled to herself, knowing that she had just had the adventure of a lifetime. Over the years, Alice never forgot about the magical world and the friends she had made there. She would often look up at the stars and wonder if Luna was watching over her. And deep down, she knew that Luna would always be a part of her life, no matter where she went or what she did.